Yo, 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 welcome to episode 2 of the Elite Wrestling Club podcast, where we explore individuals' dreams and the unwavering persistence to achieve them on and off the mat. Hi, I'm your host, Lance Runyon, and I'm thrilled to have you join us for another inspiring episode. On this episode, we will be going behind the scenes on three-time All-American Parker Keckeisen, who has grown to be a fan favorite not only as a UNI Panther, but also throughout the country. His resilience and attack rate are just a few of the things that make him stand out on the mat. We will share personal stories and valuable insights. We are excited to bring you a fascinating conversation that will inspire and motivate you to chase your dreams and achieve greatness both on and off the mat. So without further ado, let's welcome Parker Keckeisen and dive into the Elite Wrestling Club podcast world.
What up, y'all? Hey, Lance.
Hey. How's the day going, man? What you been doing?
What I've been doing? Well, I had class this morning. I woke up, made myself a wrap, you know.
There you go.
Wraps, and then
a wrap or a breakfast burrito?
No, just a wrap. Breakfast burritos. I haven't had a breakfast burrito in a minute. And then I had class. Actually, I lifted a little bit. Then I had class again. Now
what class do you have today?
That's a good question. Construction, project management, I think. And then I had League and Social Business.
There you go.
That's a good class. Learned a lot in that class. Actually, really enjoy it. Learned a lot in construction, too. But Heidi, she's kind of the GOAT.
Is that the real estate professor, too?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Oh.
I think
Ken was telling me that there was a professor on campus that helped him sell his house and stuff.
That's what I said too. I remember him telling me that too. It's not Heidi though.
Oh, okay. So I guess first question I have is just how you got started in the sport of wrestling. What age did you start, and kind of what drew you to wrestling? What inspired you to want to start wrestling?
Yeah, so I started wrestling in about second grade. So my buddy, I went to Glen Hills Summer Academy in my middle school. Gus Kaufman, he coached this wrestling class, and I went to it. My dad wrestled in high school, and he wanted me to wrestle, I assume, and he teaches good life lessons. So, and then I also had a soccer buddy, the Lamonts. He's actually from North Scott, but he wrestled at Iowa for a year, and he was like, "Hey, you should try wrestling to my dad." And I kind of got more and more into it through that's when I started wrestling, not at the summer academy, I think. And then so he kind of got me into the sport, and then in middle school, I don't know. Middle school and middle school, I really didn't like wrestling, and then high school kind of got more into it with Mac, growing with Max and the Aspen Wrestling Academy, and that's about it. And then I grew from there. I fell in love with the sport, doing it all the time. We can
get more into your more high school, I guess, stuff, and a little bit. Was there a specific individual? I mean, you talked about your dad that stood out to you in your initial wrestling journey at the beginning, or was there a specific coach or friend or?
I would definitely say Gus Kaufman then. At the real beginning, I don't know, I wanted to be like Gus. There's this photo of I don't know, I wanted to be a gym teacher for the longest time. He was our phy ed teacher, and he had long baggy hair, mop hair, and I grew out long baggy mop hair. And he was the wrestling coach. He was the cool dude, and I really looked up to Gus. And I remember in 6th grade, and he ended up taking me to high school practices, and but no, I looked up to Gus. So he kind of helped me in that aspect of my career, and just kind of laying the groundwork and working hard, consistency.
Yeah. So who would you say has been one of your biggest supporters, especially in the beginning of your journey?
One of my biggest supporters, definitely my parents. I don't know.
Yeah. I figured that would be your answer, but
yeah, Gus supported me, and I don't even know what club I was going to at that time. I was probably just at the gym. I'm thinking like low end middle school. So.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's usually parents. So I mean, I know that's what
it's definitely
my
my parents.
biggest supporters have been.
Yeah, my dad demanded a lot out of me. Not like just not winning wise, but like effort wise. Like the best story, like my dad, he just demanded your best. Like I remember him like walking off the mat one time when I didn't try that hard, and I'm like, Dad, come here, come back, and then he's like, he eventually comes back, but kind of got to chase him a little bit. But the best story to describe this is like my sister Emma. She's like a soccer coach, and I don't remember my dad. I mean, no, Emma's a soccer coach. My bad, Hannah. But she's a coach, and one of the dads like on the team, I guess, was like yelling at like I don't know what she coaches. Say his son. She's like, if you're not going to give your best, like go sit on the bench or something. And like that's exactly what my dad demanded. He just demanded our best, and my mom loved my mom, but she was probably just the support. She supported us. She loved us. I don't know. Like she demanded our best too, but moms.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's just the compassion they give you.
Yeah.
Like, I guess did you do any like traveling and stuff like that as like when you were growing up, like for wrestling tournaments or anything, or was it more like local and then?
No, yeah, it was just local. So I never went to Tulsa or anything. Like I might have wrestled out of state. When? It's a good question. I don't know. I don't know when the first time I wrestled like out of the state of Wisconsin was. It was probably, dude. I don't even know. But I
think that's just crazy too, because like, most kids are like, yeah, I went to Tulsa, USA Nationals, like was on their state dual teams, traveling to Virginia and Ohio.
100%. Like I don't remember. Like I probably didn't wrestle out of the state of Wisconsin until high school. And going to Tulsa. I know you guys always like used to talk about Tulsa.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just local tournaments and that.
It's crazy too, because like a lot of the kids that I used to wrestle, like if I look back at those brackets, it's like, oh, this kid wrestles here. Oh, this kid wrestles here.
Yeah.
Like D1 or whatever.
No, that's super cool though. Like that's like one of my favorite thing at like the senior speeches and the banquets. It's like I remember like Steyr and Hogg, like they just like talk about their battles as young kids. So it's cool to see them. I don't know, just it's like they grew up together and now they're on the same team together. And I'm sure you battled some dudes.
Oh yeah, I mean especially on the team. Like I've wrestled Bisco, I wrestled Cade Lara, I wrestled Teskey when he was on the team, but did you have anybody like that in Wisconsin that like you had constant battles with like growing up? Like I mean I know you did more when you got older, but like you remember as a kid like.
Yeah, as a kid, when I'm really young, like Peyton. Oh, I was in bracket with Peyton Mako. That like we didn't battle all the time, but I just remember it was like me, Peyton Mako, Max Mailer, and some other kid. I don't know. I remember like it was the first tournament I ever took fourth at. It was like Port Washington, and it was Mako. Yeah, it was Mako, Max Mailer. Max Mailer is actually, dude. He beat me every time, but like we wrestled a good amount. I'm thinking of like Bentley, Schwambach, Osterman. Like we wrestled a really good amount of times too, and that went into high school. And he's a D3 All-American from Augsburg now, and who else? Like there was like this 8th grade bracket that came out at WI Wrestle. It was like, and I was somehow in the toughest bracket in like youth wrestling. That's what they judged it on. It was like me, Bentley, Shane Legal, and then like a 4-timer won it. And so it was.
That's crazy.
It was crazy. I didn't expect that one to be ranked that high. but I guess it was a pretty tough one. Josh never wrestled either. I never thought about who I wrestled. It's funny.
Yeah, I mean, my junior year, I had the kid that won my bracket, Harlan Steffensmeyer. His dad, Gary, wrestled at UNI.
Mm-hmm.
And he won my bracket, and then Cade and Lara got second. I got third, and Grant Stotts got fourth, and he wrestles at Iowa State, and then Cade wrestled here, and Harlan wrestled at Air Force. But
wasn't he a four-timer? Was he a four-timer? No.
Who?
No.
Harlan? No.
Yeah. I'm thinking
he won it his senior year.
Yeah, I remember watching a video of Iowa four-timers, and it was like one was going to Iowa, the other was going to Air Force. I don't know why.
Yeah, and then my sophomore year, I wrestled Cade DeVos, who's at South Dakota State, and then
teammate
Braden Burt,
Southeast Pole teammate.
Yeah, Braden Burt.
Who's that?
He was a couple-time national champion at Milliken, now D2. So,
it's cool seeing us all grow up though.
Oh yeah,
it's cool seeing I'm definitely rooting for those dudes in my 8th grade bracket, but it's cool seeing just make the bracket tougher. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So when did you? I know we kind of talked about when you kind of fell in love with the sport, but when did you really fall in love with it?
I would definitely say sophomore, freshman year summer, going into my sophomore year, I definitely fell in love with it. I don't know, I met Max, and I don't know, he found a way to he had to talk with me one time. He's he kind of shit on baseball, but I was big into baseball, and that was kind of the whole spiel is you can do a lot. I don't know, you got to be kind of, I feel you have to be gifted physically, in baseball. You got to be tall. You got to be Jose. I don't know. I'm not Jose Altuve. He's short, but I don't know. It was harder. I don't know. And I was kind of that summer. I kind of fell out of love of baseball. Is I really only cared how I did in baseball, and the team wise thing kind of just felt. I don't know. I didn't like it, and maybe probably.
So when did you quit baseball?
I stopped playing baseball that summer. So it was that was my last summer, freshman year. That was my last summer playing baseball, and I guess I tried out for some teams during the winter months, but then I never played on them. So yeah, my dad wasn't too happy about that one, but so I don't know. I just fell in love with wrestling. I know the Burroughs documentary kind of talked about he just loved being in the room, wearing short shorts. He kind of just embraced being a wrestler, and it was definitely probably that, yeah. Sophomore year, going into sophomore year, I just loved it. I took 5th at state. I was oh, let's just keep improving, and
yeah.
So I just cared more.
And that's
about
the thing too. Once you get good at something, it's or once you kind of can see your development, it's almost oh, how much better can I get now?
Yeah, and
what jump can I make for next year?
Yeah, you saying that is just I didn't. I didn't see that in baseball. Right? I didn't see myself I didn't see the jump I could make in baseball, but I saw the jump I could make on the mat, and it was just more intriguing to me.
Yeah, and was there other sports you played than baseball? I know you played football in high school, but growing up,
yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, no, growing up, I think parents put me in all the sports. I ran cross country. I'm trying to just think of the seasons at Glen Hills.
Man, I can imagine you running cross country right now.
Yeah. I'm a big runner. Love running. But no, I
played. You let your girlfriend do that.
Yeah, I do let Paige run. I'll just ride my bike next to her. Just encourage me. Good job. Dude, what else did I play? I swear, I did more than just cross country. Baseball.
You probably played soccer.
Oh, yeah, soccer. I'm trying to think.
Did you ever swim?
Oh, yeah, I did swim. I was a terrible swimmer. My dad was actually a swim coach, ironically.
Really?
And I was a bad swimmer. Plus, I'm I'm not trying to hype myself up, but I sink. I'm very dense. I can't float. In high school, bro, I failed the swim test. I didn't fail the swim test. I failed the lifeguard test because I'm ooh, summer job, I could lifeguard, get some raise. And, yeah, that just wasn't the case. I couldn't tread water without my arms. I like sank right away. We did the 500-meter swim, and then I sank. I was so upset, so embarrassed.
Got that 500-meter swim out of the way and then couldn't float.
Yeah, bro. I wish
couldn't tread.
Just wish I did the float test. I wonder if I could have done the brick test because
jump off the diving board and go all the way to the bottom, bring the brick back up.
Yeah, but like technically, like I'm a brick, so I'm just gonna sink even more. Like I'm probably no. I'm glad I didn't do that. That was embarrassing though. No. What was the question? I'm totally lost.
No, we were just chatting about sports.
Chatting about sports. What did you play? Wow.
Oh, I mean, I quit baseball in 7th grade, so
yeah, you were the lefty, bro. I remember.
Yeah, I pitched, and then I was on a travel team my 7th grade year, and after that year, I was like, it's time to wrestle some freestyle and Greco. So that's when I kind of started freestyle and Greco in 8th grade, and then. I mean,
well, I guess that too is kind of for me too. Like freestyle and Greco, like that freshman year, that's probably what the top of Max was about, low key. That freshman year, like I couldn't go to like freestyle state or Fargo. Like I think I missed my first year of cadets at Fargo because of that baseball season, and like that's important. So it's like I guess that's the reason too.
Good. And then football.
Oh yeah, football. Now, football was like, you played football?
I quit football my sophomore year. After my sophomore year.
Yeah. So you didn't play it at Southeast Polk then?
No.
Football was so fun, though. Come on.
I agree. It was fun.
I loved playing football. Football was kind of like my social time, though.
Yeah.
It was just good for the brain, to say the least.
So would you say that conversation with Max is like what contributed to you like picking wrestling as your sport?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
How'd you meet Max?
Me and Max met. Well, I went to North Shore and Heartland, Heartland AWA. I went there in middle school a little bit. That's where I remember wrestling Otto. I don't remember Keegan that much, but I remember wrestling Otto a good amount. And then so I went there probably till 7th grade. And then they opened up the North Shore Academy, and I didn't go to it right away. I went back to Ringers, and then I went to the North Shore Academy, and I just I don't even know how I really met, but that's where I really.
Well, did you just start going to Askren?
What?
Did you just start going to Askren because of people you knew went there, or?
You could just see that there was a jump to be made there.
Yeah.
And so me and my dad were traveling 30 minutes to Heartland. I'm sure Ben knew where I lived, and it was right by North Shore. So, and I'm sure Max came to North Shore every once in a while. He was out in New York. He moved back, so I'm sure we met there. But and then I went to Heartland more and more, and I don't know, he must have saw something in me that I worked hard or something along those lines, and our relationship grew from there. So, and then he had that talk with me after probably before my freshman year. I remember making a bet with him, if I place at state, he'll give me a pair of shorts, and I don't know if that's legal, but
it's legal when you're not in college.
I did get a pay.
It's legal now, anyways.
Yeah, I did get a pair of wrestling shorts after I placed, and we just I don't know. He helped me fall in love with the sport and just getting in there and getting better, and he helped me make it really. He helped me make good jumps. I don't know. I feel like I grew a lot. I grew a lot in 3 years of really kind of hammering down. So kind of crazy to think about.
So, what was the culture and training at Askren like?
I feel like it was a lot like school. I feel like he taught it like units. So it was we scrap probably every day, but the technique wise, the sparring, I swear we'd do technique, then we'd spar, and then we'd kind of go live more in those positions. Say we're working on. back step single legs or like along those lines. Like we'd drill it, spar it, and then go from there. And then me and Max, we probably did an individual. We did an individual every week for a really long time. And then, yeah, like we didn't really go, like we went hard, but like, I don't know. I feel like we actually kind of go pretty hard. Like the Ashburn culture, looking back on it. And
yeah,
like, I know, like they kind of get a rap, like, oh, they don't go hard. But no, like we handful, like, I don't even know the culture, but like we handful, I feel like that culture at North Shore is very, very selfless. I remember like him, like making us go with whether like smaller kids all the time, like maybe not once a week, but maybe once every 2 weeks. So it's like a big guy grabs a small guy, and they play around, and you kind of just learn, like you almost learn how to spar from that, like going with a smaller guy, just like now do that with a big guy, and you kind of get a similar feel. And but I swear Max taught me like you can get better wrestling than anyone. And did we have the best room at that time? Like you look at the room now and it's insane. Like you got the Solo twins, you got Charlie Millard, you got Braden Scholes. Like there's a really good amount of top guys at that academy, and they go out to all the other academies too, but like their home base is that academy. And that culture keeps growing. It's like I know like those like I remember doing individuals with like Kale Eckerson, and like I did individuals with like the Solas, so it's like it's almost, I feel like it's a very giving back culture that was that he created. And I don't know for all the academies, but like you give to each other. Like I said, like you can get better wrestling than anyone. If you're going like I was the best guy in the room, it don't matter if you're going with a guy not so good. You're gonna find a way to get better. You're gonna bring them along. You're gonna show them kind of the way. And I know like Dejan was there with me, and like we're probably two best guys there, and we got a lot better together. It's like, and so I don't really know if I'm describing the culture, but
I mean you are. It's just like you also see like the growth that Wisconsin has had as a state too, and I feel like Akron has really contributed to that growth as a state. And you talking about them having like the top guys in the country. I mean, not only in the state but in the country, you know.
Yeah, no.
And that culture kind of sounds a lot like what we have here, you know. It's like you come in, somebody grabs you, they help lead you along, they help guide you, they teach you, they put you through workouts, whatever it is. Yeah. Whatever kind of mentorship you need, and you help them grow, you know. And that's how, you know, you grab bigger guys, smaller guys, freshmen, seniors, it doesn't really matter. There's always ways to get better.
Yeah, and I know you probably have this question on there, but it's like that's kind of drew me to UNI. Like and Roper and Doug, like very selfless. Randy, great coach. B-Rob, great coach. But it was like Roper and Max, I feel like are very similar in like their approach, and it's very like technique wise, like being well rounded in all positions, and like that's, I don't really know where I'm going with this all. Like it drew me here, and I know, yeah. And like I know Taylor came up and came up, and he like lived with Max for a little bit, like a week, and I remember wrestling with him, getting to know him, and it was like, I don't know, like we didn't like bond, but like he's like, oh, this dude's cool, right? And but gosh, I can't.
Was there any other reasons that made you choose UNI? Because that was one of our fan questions, actually. Somebody commented and wanted to know kind of what some of your reasons were.
Honestly, I thought they were more like UNI. So they like recruited me when I wasn't very good. Like at that sophomore year, right? All right, sophomore. So I quit baseball sophomore year. I have like a full 8 months into this sport. Like I lost in the state finals. It was like, oh, all right, you're there. Really kind of struggled with probably belief in my abilities. Like that's still a struggle now, let's be honest. And then like I remember going to like Northern Plains and like I went to Northern Plains. I DNP'd. Actually, all right, here we go. It was cadet trials, right? I remember DNPing Jeremiah Kent. Like, all right, so I lost to Jeremiah Kent. Oh, I went to Fargo my sophomore year, my freshman year. I'm dumb. No way. All right, so I must have played baseball and went to Fargo, bro. Dude. All right, so I went to Fargo my freshman year summer, and I still found a way to play baseball. That's how that was. Now that I'm thinking back, I went to Fargo, and then that like 2 months after Fargo, I was playing baseball, and so this is probably where the conversation with Max comes in, because like those 2 months after Fargo, I feel like is where you make a really big jump. It's like this time now, like you're kind of just in there playing and getting better, and like even the time before season. So I'm just rambling. I don't care. Max had me. Max didn't really like Ben, so Ben's different. I swear all his guys competed all the time. Max was a little different. Like even now, like I don't compete all the time. It's really not my style. And it was like that time from about end of Fargo to the beginning of high school seasons, like where you kind of just you come in and you roll. And I feel like I definitely fell in love with that aspect. And you just get better, right? Like you just get better. So like I lost at Fargo. I lost in the Fargo blood round cadet year. I actually wrestled Aaron Brooks. First time wrestling Brooks. Sore top. And then fast forward, I lose in the state finals. Then I actually lost in every state finals that year. DMP'd at Northern Plains. Lost to the same dude I lost in the state finals. It was just weird. And it was like, yeah, you put in all this work, you quit baseball. I'm like, oh my goodness, is wrestling really the way you want to go? And then I do go. Oh, I went 2-2 at Fargo. I wrestled Aaron again. That dude just leaves run free in my head, I guess. Go on, and I'm like, yeah, bro. Like rethinking high school right now. And I was like, oh, kind of this. What's the question? What's the question, Lance?
Well, the question was just some of the reasons that you chose UNI.
All right, there we go. All right, so like I really haven't done anything. All right, it's like I haven't done anything. I DMP'd at Northern Plains. What results have I done to really get college attention? And and Roper. I think they saw me wrestle at state that year. Yeah. Roper and Randy were at state that year. And they tell me now, it's like, I saw you double some dude in the semifinals, which was kind of cool. And they're like, ooh, light bulb. And, they must have went back and looked at film and like, oh, he can be good. So that September, they contact me and I'm like, oh, I really haven't done anything. And again, this is in the back of my mind. I really haven't done anything. Right, and they see a plan, they see a future, they see something in me. So I'm like, ooh, they kind of have a plan for me. And then I win state, and then I'm kind of just a good dude in Wisconsin. And I remember, actually, I'm not dumb, but I go to preseason nats. So that whole talking about not doing preseason tournaments, I take back. I go to preseason nationals, and I win that. And, I win that. And Randy, I remember Randy talking to me there. And then I always had an interest in the service academies. And Max is coach at Missouri. He was he coached at Air Force, so he kind of talked to me. And then I remember coming down to so it's like they saw something in me, and then Wisconsin contacted me, and it was just like when Bono got the job, and I feel like if they really wanted me, they would have talked to me when they were at South Dakota State. something along those lines. And so it's like I kind of just had a soft spot for UNI, and I look back and now I honestly think just kind of God sent me here, and because like my dad, like I love my parents, but my dad wanted me to go to the Air Force Academy, and my mom wanted me to Badger. She'll deny it. I know she's gonna listen to this. Mom, just accept it. I know what you wanted, and so yeah. So like they just saw something in me, and like, oh, they got a plan for me. So
yeah, I mean, honestly, that's kind of my reason too. They start early, you know what I mean? They start right away. It's not like they wait until
he's good.
Now he's good. Now I'm gonna recruit him. You know what I mean? It was like, the first day. It's like, Randy Pugh, Doug Schwab.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm like, wow.
You and I
I'm
really
not even that good. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And that's kind of. I mean, that's just kind of how our coaches are. You know, they're not like they're going to be more upfront about things. They're not businessmen. They're not going to feed your ear full of crap, and just be like, hey, we want you to be a Panther, and then not talk to you for a month, and then be like, hey,
we want you to be a Panther.
Yeah, it was like every day, like couple times a week. It'd be like, I got a call at like 9:00 at night. Hey, what you doing? It's Saturday night. Hey, what you doing?
Yeah,
so
I'm with you. I remember Randy talked to me. He could his phone. I swear, he must have been driving home because in Janesville they must not have good cell reception, and you can barely hear Randy. But he was definitely talking. Like they definitely kept in contact the most, and our coaches are the bomb.com, I think.
Yeah. Another question about I guess your time at like Askren. Who are some like lifetime friends you develop, and what have those relationships meant to you? Even going through college now too, being able to see him at tournaments and things.
Yeah, so Dejan's definitely a lifetime friend. Like we wrestled all the time. I remember, he asked me to pick him up for practice all the time. Like we lived real close by. Then. Again, dude, me and that dude put a lot of work in together, and like Ellis Flagger, he wrestles at Missouri now. We tried to get him to be a Panther, but he chose Missouri. But we wrestled like he was the man, and he kind of like I feel like he almost helped me. Like he was just a good dude, and he kind of helped me balance like you can have fun too in a way. Like he had a very kind of loose approach to it, I think, and just getting to know him. And we wrestled a lot. Ask him about the backfall cradles. I hit on him. He figured out how to poke his hand though.
That's
Ellis
good.
Flager's good, and then me and Keegan, Josh Otto's a good dude. Me and Keegan, like I don't know, we went to Vegas together. We took a road trip out to the Olympic Training Center. My senior year, his junior year, and I don't know, they're super good dudes, and I'm probably missing a good amount. But who else? Mako's a good dude. I don't know if we're like the best of friends, like TBH, but he's a great dude. But great family, and those are kind of, I don't know, Missouri, like, I hate to say it because they beat us, but like a lot of those Missouri dudes I'm good buddies with, and their families are great people, but I don't know, getting to see Keegan, like watching Keegan win is really cool. It's like growing up with that dude, it's like I can give a call whenever I want and text him whenever I want, and it's just good to keep those relationships strong. I know we have like an AWA kind of alum, like the Bianchis, like Jack Ganos, like we kind of have an AWA alum chat, and it gets snapped in every once in a while. So it's
that's cool.
So like I remember like Mako, I remember like he won state and he's like, go get it, Parker. And it was just like, it's kind of cool, kind of day-to-day culture there. And good to keep in touch with those guys. And then you got to wrestle Mako. I'm sorry, buddy.
That's all right.
You're my brother.
A bunch of us have wrestled Mako, so
he has.
Not too big of a deal.
Austin's wrestling.
I mean, I guess we've talked about more like your development, growing up. So now more to like college stuff. What was your first year like, and what kind of development did you make?
My first year, I remember freaking out because I went home in the summer. I mean, not the summer, the winter, and I swear the only thing I was working on was finish work and getting my hips underneath. Because I had a really good, I was really good at like hard things, like in wrestling, like hand fighting and along those lines. But I sucked at like getting my butt under me, like in finish work. So I was doing finish work for probably my whole freshman year, and it was so fun. It was so good. And
yeah, that's the best.
Yeah, it's so fun. I remember doing a lot of finish work with Doug, and front headlock defense, and kind of just the positions that you have to be good at. Like you have to have a good foundation, or else you're gonna get exploited. So you know what I mean. And
yeah.
So
I mean, it was our freshman year too, when like nationals got canceled and everything. And just, I don't know if you want to talk about kind of how that impacted you, and how that drives you now too.
Yeah, I'll get into that. And yeah, I know competition went well. I know I lost to Abe Assad, and I went down to Fort Worth with Drew and wrestled some freestyle. I was really looking forward to like having a chance to, because I lost in the World Team Trials Finals the year before, so I was really looking forward to having an opportunity to make a world team. And just, I wrestled freestyle. There's competitions after that. And then, I don't know, it was like freshman year, I was like, I kind of enjoyed just like being a practice partner, because like I've always loved practice. I've always loved the process. And so, yeah, I've always loved the process. And that's all pretty much what you get to do all your redshirt year. So I enjoyed it. And also like I took a lot of pride like with the people I wrestled with. I also wrestled with Austin a lot, Taylor with a lot, Bryce. Like it was good to see those dudes do well. And so just going on, and then nationals gets canceled, and it's like dang. It's like dang, wrestling. Like I think at the time too, I put a lot of like happiness into wrestling, and it was like dang, wrestling's not guaranteed. So I know that along those lines, like it's like hey, that was kind of an eye-opening experience. Is like dang, and I remember Bryce talking about just his faith in Christ, and I know I grew a lot from there. And like a little bit after that too, I really wasn't living the life that I like. So I was like, ooh, it's kind of changed some things there, and just growing in my faith from there. So, but that through that summer, I know we had mats in the garage at our house. We were just like we were thinking, and we were hoping NCAAs happens next year, but it wasn't guaranteed. So we were just, I don't know, we were finding a way to grow and finding a way to get better. It doesn't matter. I don't know. That's like one thing I think here, kind of good example. It's like we don't have the best facilities. We don't have the glitz and glamour, but it don't matter. It don't matter. Give us I don't even know how big the mats were in the garage, but give us a 12 by 12 mat, and we'll find a way to get better. Give us, like, I know you and Tank were wrestling in the yard, like, it's like it don't matter. Like you can figure out a way to get better, no matter what. So it was like,
and I think.
No, you go.
I mean, I think that summer kind of opened our eyes to like, you can get better not wrestling too, like not being on the mat, not being able to be in the room, not being able to be around a bunch of people at once, all getting better. And yeah, we like that part of it. We like coming to practice. We like being around our guys and being able to choose our partners and stuff. But sometimes, that's not the case. And
I know that's something you've had to go through, like with your shoulders and such. And it's like, I don't know, maybe I don't know. I wonder if you look back on that summer as like kind of like I don't want to be a jerk, but like kind of like prep. It's like, oh, how can I find a way to get better through my labrum surgeries in a way?
Yeah, it's definitely been like that.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not trying to be mean, you know that.
No, yeah, you're not.
But like that's on my mind. I'm like, oh, that was almost kind of like a prep. It's like, oh, I can get better. I can read to grow. I can watch film. Like there's other ways to get better in this sport other than just getting on the mat every day. It's like that's our favorite way, but that's my favorite way. At least I don't know. Some people have their opinion, but
and I think too, like you mentioned, like growing in our faith. I just know that me and you both, like, we kind of started out like growing in our faith freshman year, and then, we were like in and out kind of, it wasn't like a huge commitment, but then all of a sudden it was like, boom, me and you were meeting with Ken like every week. And I think that was probably one of the biggest times in our growth too, in our faith. So.
Yeah, no, I agree. 100%. 100%.
So I've heard you talk about your leadership role starting out as a lead by example kind of guy. What kind of growth have you made as a leader, and what contributed to that growth?
As a leader?
Well, I mean, now I'd say it's not just a lead by example. Like, obviously you lead by example. You've done that, so you've grown into more of a being able to put yourself out of your comfort zone and talk and speak up and really try and motivate guys and encourage guys.
Yeah, no, I agree. Just like if we want to make a jump as a team, I feel like you got to speak out more. You kind of, and there's always levels of things, right? And my way in high school was always lead by example, and then there's like, I know Max always talked about bringing guys along and getting people, like, how many people can you get to a Sunday workout? That's kind of like the challenge. It's like, oh, it's like on a day we don't have practice. Like I know, like, we had open mats all the time when like we had practice Monday through Thursday, and then Saturday and then Sunday. So I was like, oh, we get on the mat Friday, and Max would like let me open up the gym, and we'd see how many people we can get to an open mat. Like, I don't know. Like, we didn't get that many. Like, I didn't get that many. But you look at open mats now, and it's freaking packed. It's crazy. And but it's like kind of that way. It's like, I said like a lot there, but leading by example, kind of just like doing extra, hoping and bringing people along the way, showing them the way. And but now I know it's like you got to speak up. You got to have the, like, I know I have ideas, but it's kind of just having the courage to kind of just talk about them. And it's like, I know, like, even like, we talk about growing in our faith. Like, maybe God put these words on my heart for me, or they could be for someone else. And that's kind of like where it hit me.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I got to speak these words, and like, I don't do it all the time. Like, I'm gonna be honest, but like, it's like I got to speak up more, because like, these words might not affect me. They could affect two people down the line. And it's like, oh, that's the more important part. And, and I like to think this past year I did a better job of it. And I know we're two captains. So it's like, I know that's one thing we need to continue to bring in the next year.
Yep.
And talking and speaking and doing it. Like, you gotta have it all. And it's good to know. It's good to know there's levels and everything. It's like, oh, we didn't get what we wanted this year, right? It's like, where can we make a jump? And it starts with you. Like, the standard has to raise to yourself in a way. So, and I know it's like, ooh, a challenge. Let's do it. I know we're gonna do it, and hopefully, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Some of that's out of our control, but hopefully we can go have a great year this next year, and these guys going to Vegas can have a great time too. So
yeah. So what are some tools you use to help you stay focused, confident, and relaxed before your matches or even practice?
Some tools. I just try to make it like, I just try to keep it the same. Try to keep it like practice. I know at NCAAs I was carrying a freaking soccer ball around and juggling it before my matches, because like, what are we doing before practice? We're playing dodgeball. We're playing ass, right? You juggle and throw the ball at each other. Like, that's loose. Like, how? Like, what are like what's the difference between practice and competition? I'm just trying to keep them the same. So I'm like, I'm gonna play a game before. Like, I know before the national finals, Big 12 finals, like what we were doing, dude. We were playing that ball game.
Yeah.
And I feel like the Big 12 finals was probably one of the like for at least for the first period. I feel like I kind of backed down, but like I felt super loose. I felt ready to go. It was like, I remember noting that. Like, I didn't, like, just a mental note. I'm like, I'm gonna bring a soccer ball for practice. I remember wrestling tank before NCAAs. I started juggling. I'm like, this is what I'm doing at NCAAs. I gotta juggle, and then we wrestled, and then we scrapped. So it was just kind of funny, but trying to keep it. I'm breathing, like I'm trying to stay calm, deep breaths, like five in, five out. And sometimes, like, I remember my Uncle Gary wrestled too, so like he kind of got me into it too. But like, I remember just like sometimes you ever like blow out your lungs so much that like you cough. I know he told me that's good for you. I don't know. He told me that's good for you to like so you get clean air. I don't know if that's the right medical term, but if that's a thing. But kind of funny. I'm breathing,
or if it's just to relax you, you know.
Yeah, yeah. 100%.
Then you're focusing on your breathing.
Yeah, that I'm scrolling on Instagram Reels. I deleted TikTok, so I remember like where did I read a book? I remember before Wisconsin, I was really amped up. I'm like, Lance, give me your book. Like, yeah, let me read that. So it was like just trying to keep my mind off wrestling, and then when wrestling happens, let's ride.
Yeah. So how have you built that trust within yourself? I know that's one thing you talk about too a lot. Is just like being able to trust yourself, trust your attacks. Like, what's one thing that's helped you learn that, or like what experience kind of helped you open your mind to like, oh man, I really need to trust myself. Like, I need to start trusting myself more so I can be a better competitor.
Trusting myself. I know this year. What did I really have to trust myself? I it's on the tip of my tongue. Just trusting myself because it's like I work hard, right? It's like I work really hard. I put in the skills I put in the skills and time. I do the skills. I'm good in all positions, and sometimes you just go out there and you don't believe it. It's like you want to go hang in collar tie. It's like why not have some chaos out there? And it's like, I know wrestling Taylor, wrestling you, it's like we get into lots of positions, and and like that's at the time where it's the most fun, and I'm probably at my best. Almost, it's not chaos, but it's like when wrestling is happening, right? And it's like I would go out there in matches and just hang in collar tie. It's wrestling in a way, but it's like not what you need to do to win. Like I'm good when we're like in 30 seconds, like flurries, right? Like eventually, like I'm probably going to come out on top, I hope. And if I don't, who cares? Next position. Doug preaches that all the time. Just go win the next position, and that's the goal. It's like the next position could be me in on a leg attack. The next position could be him in on my legs, or I could be on my back. It's like, go win that next position. Get off your back. All right, now I got to get to my feet. And just trusting that, like, hey, I'm well-rounded in every position. I'm good in every position. Just go out there and wrestle. And what was it before Nationals? It was like, it's probably on my phone, actually. Was it BU, have fun? Oh, it's enjoy the present. Enjoy the present. And that's one thing. I feel like if you're enjoying the present, you're trusting yourself a little bit. So, does that kind of answer that question?
Yeah, and it like, has that trust in yourself that like, oh, I need to have this chaos. Is that kind of what has made you just want to be on the attack the whole time and attack?
Yeah, 100%. So if I feel like my first 2 years, yes. because my defense was not that good. So it was like, if I'm on the attack, like, how can I get defended on? How can they get to my legs? So it's like, my defense there was defense when they're above my knee was not that good. Let's be honest. So it was like, so I'm just going to attack. I'm going to score points. And I know no regrets, like, was kind of my mindset out there. And I know COVID, now we're circling back to COVID. This is good because I did not get onto that. Like, no regrets, right? You never know if this could be your last practice, like this last practice or competition. You could think about, it's like, I know it's like a thing I try to put into each practice. Like, it's like, dang, if this is your last practice, like, I know it's not likely. I hope it's not likely, but you could get in a car accident on the way home. Like, let's be honest, like, it's what Inky talks about, like,
yeah, like
something blessings, like, in a way. It's
it's small blessings. You know what I mean? It's like just making it home safe.
Yeah, it's like you don't take it for granted sometimes. Like, that's a blessing. And I think COVID kind of flipped that switch. It was like, oh, bro, like, you don't know. Like, NCAAs might not even happen that next year. It's like, I'm gonna try to make the most of this day. And I feel like that concept kind of really clicked for me because I don't love competition that much. So it's like, I'm like, at practice, I'm gonna go try to score a lot, so I have no regrets. And in competition, it's like, dang, Roper always talk to me, what can I control in my effort? And when I think of effort, I probably think of taking attacks. And now that I'm growing right now, effort can mean different things, like holding position and getting to your position. That's effort. So it's like, but in my mind, like, those first 2 years, it was just like, hey, I'm just gonna go get the legs. And I can do a 7-minute bike sprint. I can do that. So yeah, that wasn't hard for me. It was hard. It sucked. It didn't suck, but it was like, hey, let's just go get the legs and score and see how many times that you can do it.
So this is kind of a different fun question. Do you have any superstitions on meet days or anything like you feel like you have to do?
I used to be real bad about that. Thank you, Shane. But no, like, I used to, like, I at NCAAs, I had a new pair of socks every time. My mom likes new pairs of socks.
I know that's one thing I do too. It's like, oh, I'm trying to wear a new pair of socks every time.
Yeah, a fresh pair of socks, but no, it's honestly just a fresh pair of socks. Most likely, I don't know if there's a duel this year. I didn't have a fresh pair of socks, so my bank account not too happy about that.
So this is a good time to, like, discuss your faith a little bit, I guess. How has that impacted your growth as a person and a wrestler? And what have you learned while developing a relationship with God?
That God's in control, honestly. Like, Andy's good. I know. Yeah, God is good. So, and also surrender the outcome. Like, Chop Wood, Carry Water, really, there's a chapter on how he surrenders the outcome of all competition. That really helped me with competitions. And yeah, it just helped me with competitions. And, it's like you're doing this more for yourself. I know I had Faith Family Panther train on my shoe tongues at NCAAs, and that's kind of who I wrestle for. It's like, wrestle. God's given me this ability to do this. He's given me this moment. My family, I know, seeing my parents and 2 sisters, like, they're on my arm now, like, for real, it's like seeing them on the next to the stage. Like, I don't know, it's one of my favorite photos. And then the Panther train, that's my brothers on the team. That's you guys. You're my roommate. Like, it's those dudes and competing for them. It's like, and I feel like going out there, you're competing for more than yourself. I said that already, but when I, like, get in my mind that, hey, you got to go leave no regrets for Faith Family and the Panther train, I feel like it gets a different level out of me. It's like doing things. I feel like even in the beginning of this year, it kind of got more, like, it kind of got more on myself. I was like, competing for me, and And now looking back on it, it's like, dang, that's kind of why you quit baseball, bro. You just only cared how you did. And I feel like it was a good reminder. And but just competing for your teammates. Like I love seeing our team win and do well. And but surrendering that outcome out there, it's like, I'm gonna go leave no regrets out there and go give it my all, control my effort and attitude. Attitude. I did a podcast with some other one. We talked about attitude, something you can also control. I was like, yeah, that's a good one. So effort and attitude, and you know what? The rest is in God's hands ultimately, and that's kind of like the approach I like to take to everything, whether that's like my friendships, give it my all, or whether that's like my relationship with Paige. It's like I'm going to give it my all, give it my best effort, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. If it works, hey, it works.
Yeah. So I got one more fan question for you too. What does a true team environment mean to you, and discuss why the one you're on right now creates a recipe for success?
A true team environment. Like what is my ideal team environment? Is that kind of what you're getting out of it? Or just like,
yeah, or like how what is our team environment, I guess, and why has it helped you develop so much?
Yeah, I'd say our team environment. Like I told you, I didn't even talk about this. Like coming in was like Drew and Taylor, right? I knew I was coming in as an 84 pounder, and it's like Drew and Taylor are in front of me. There's a standard to be set. There's a standard to hold, and like those two dudes are some of the selfless dudes I know. Like Drew freshman year, we wrestled, like I swear all the time. Like he was doing student teaching still, and he was competing, and he was like, "Hey Parker, you want to go at 4?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude, I'll be there." And like I remember, like Drew was wrestling with me all the time. It was like right after Harold Nichols' freshman year. So right after Harold Nichols, I'm like, oh. And then he asked me to go on Monday, and Roper wanted me to take a day off. I'm like, hey, dude, I got to wrestle with Drew because that's what he would do for me. And I know Taylor's the same way. He's selfless. We're talking about positions. Like it's just, I feel like that's our community, that's our team, and we're getting there. And there's always room to grow. We're getting there. We're giving to each other, right? What is it? Selfless, gritty, coachable. Like we're almost getting to the point where we're almost kind of coaching ourselves, and we're taking what each other. Like we have coaches that tell us all things, but we're like bouncing ideas off each other, and and it's like that's how I see us going and making a big jump. It's like just using each other, loving each other, and getting on the mat with each other, growing and bouncing ideas, and yeah. I feel like that's what Askren's doing a really good job of too right now. But like just doing that to a whole new level.
And then I know you're a huge fan of disc golf. So what is your favorite disc golf course around the Cedar Valley area? And then where did you develop a love for disc golf?
Is this a fan question or you?
Nah, dude. It's me.
It's you? Disc golf? We played Big Woods. I like Big Woods. Tourist is fun because it's like a short course. But I would say Big Woods is definitely my favorite. And except the back nine, dude. The back nine's got all these forehand shots, and I suck at my forehand. So I don't love that. And how did I fall in love with disc golf? I think right now, like in college, I definitely have a bigger love for it. I remember me and Keegan, and like me and my dad actually went. I remember betting my dad at a disc golf course right by my house. If I make it through like these two trees, they like made it like a little windy thing that he'd give me some. Like he bought me like a video game or something kind of cool. So I remember going with my dad. He was always like a big ultimate guy. So it's like good, like going home. It's cool, fun, like going to Frisbee with him. But I don't know. It's something to keep my mind off the sport, low key. It's it's kind of an escape. It's like, I don't know, I love, like, being outside. It's even, like, good for me. I swear, it's good for me to get out there, and it's a time to build relationships, and I know you get to go with your buddies. I know it's time to spend with your buddies. So it's like,
Do you have any other hobbies? Things you like doing?
I like hanging out with my girlfriend. And
There you go. There you go.
You like going
COD?
Yeah.
Late night Call of Duty?
You guys are more into that than me. I like COD, don't get me wrong, but God, I just suck. Like, I don't spend time with it, dude. It's like weird. Like, I enjoy COD. I enjoy late night COD with the boys.
Hey, I remember when you used to play Fortnite.
Hey, a late night COD game with the boys. Oh my God.
All right, a couple rapid fire questions. What's your favorite place to eat in Cedar Falls?
Pablo's.
What's your favorite sports team? Like professional?
Packers, probably.
Packers,
Brewers.
Packers or Bucks?
Yeah. I almost
Brewers?
said
All right. That works too. Favorite movie?
Remember the Titans.
Favorite athlete?
Dude. Giannis.
Favorite home cooked meal? Shout out to Lynn.
Me and my mom. My parents actually make this both together. It's like
Oh, all right. Shout out Lynn and Jim then.
chicken and dumplings.
Her wings pretty fire though.
Oh, her wings are gas. That's like a number 2. Chicken and dumplings. It's just like a family thing. It's like chicken wings. Like anyone can make chicken wings, but
Yeah.
chicken and dumplings.
You got anything else? Like anything you're really interested, like when your career is over, or like construction wise, like trying to get your name out there for construction or anything?
Honestly, dude, I hope to coach, and I think I will. But I like building things, right? That's probably like a little bit why I kind of like the process. Like I didn't frame, but framing, I got kind of framed, but like framing, that was real fun to me. It's like building things, like seeing things grow. So that's probably why I love being on the mat, just seeing like skills grow. And but I don't know, construction, maybe one day. I don't know.
All right, maybe one day.
Maybe one day.
All right, man. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you, Lance.
Thanks for coming on.
No, thanks for having me.
All right, we'll see you later.